Hey guys, it's Blaze. We're back with another one. Today we are on another D&D story where I tell you all about a character I have made, their backstory, their life, everything about them, as much as I can, sharing with you the ideas I have made, and without further ado, let's get in the video. Alright guys, it's Blaze, and we're back with another one, as you can clearly see. First of all, I have my fan going. No, I didn't have it going on the last one, but I'm recording this back-to-back telechecks, but I got fairly hot, so I got it going. But yeah, today, we're recording Lanis. And I bet it's still going to be as long of a video as the others, but Lanis has the longest backstory I have ever made for a D&D character. And it's just, dang. I don't even have it written down anymore. I got it memorized. I will say, before I play the music, Lanis did start as an NPC, just like Teleshek. But he has also become one of my favorite characters. And oh my word, the man is stacked. I will also say, aside from Teleshek, he's the only cosplay I have made. I do have all of his gear and everything. As for cosplays, as I said, Lanis and Teleshek's the only two I got. No, I do have one other. I don't have him on my list. I should add him. That's probably a good idea. But, I am working on one for Matness, but, she, remember, Matness is a Aarakocra. He has wings, and feathers, and it's not the easiest thing to make. I have all of his armor made. I'm just like, how do I make his legs? How do I make the feathers? I have a spear. I need to paint his spear. I'm just like, dang it. Anyways, I keep talking about cosplay. We need to get in the video. I'm just gonna play it where we left off from Teleshek's video. I'll have different music for the next one. But yeah, Lanis. I'm going to start off with background because you all are probably going to be like, what the heck, man? I do have to look some things up for his story, though, so I might try to do that while I'm talking. But first of all, background. It's two swords because the man uses two swords. Thought it was a great background to use for him. Thought it was a great idea. As for the image, if you've ever heard of SAO or Sword Art Online, great show. If you're a kid, do not watch it until you're at least 17, please. Save yourself. But yes, mentioning SAO, the picture is of Kirito. And it's like, why is Kirito here on Lanis' thing? I'm glad you asked. So when I cosplay as Lanis, everyone mistakes me for Kirito, and I'm like, great, like I'm Lanis. It's a D&D character. It's because okay, Lanis uses two swords. One of them's white, one of them's black. The black sword practically looks like one of Kirito's swords. So in doing so, I was like, what kind of sword can I buy for Lanis? I saw one of Kirito's swords. I was like, this works. This works. It's the green one, but it's painted black. And I was like, this works. It's like, you have no idea how well this works for Lanis. But ever since I used that sword, and people mistake me for Kirito. Especially because he also has the black coat. It's not the same black coat, but it's so similar. People was like, Kirito? I'm like, no, it's Lanis. His name is Lanis. I'm salty, I know, it pisses me off. It's fine. Okay, I just remembered the name. I don't have to look it up. I was trying to remember other... He's got other NPCs in his backstory. I'm just like, what are their names? I was like, I remember one. What's the other? Oh, shoot. What's his sister's name? You know what? I don't care. But yeah, anyways, yeah, just to describe him first, yeah, he looks a lot like Kirito. That's what people mistake him for, Kirito. He's got black hair, just like Kirito, black coat, just like Kirito. Look, maybe Kirito was some of the idea behind Lanis. He was not, though. After I made Lanis, I realized they were really similar. But really, I didn't even think about it when I was making Lanis. So, take it as you will. But yes, so his swords are homebrew swords. I always include them when I use Lanis. It pisses off DMs. That's why I never use Lanis. But I have before. They've allowed it. His black sword does a crap amount of damage. For its swing, it's like... He's got like a plus 8 or 10 to damage or something like that. And then his white sword does piddle-butt damage, but can hit like 8 times in a row. I mean, it's like... I think it's like a d6 divided by 2 or 3, and it's like, divided by 2 or 3, it's like, that's like nothing. It's like, oh, I get to swing it 8 times, though. It's like, excuse me, what? It's like, he also has just... When I made Lanis he's an NPC for one of my campaigns. In that campaign, you could just swing both of your weapons at the same time for every action. Because I know in regular D&D, you get to only swing with one as one attack, and it's like, oh man, you have to have an extra attack just to use the other. It doesn't work that way. For every attack, you can swing both of them in this campaign. So when I moved him to 5e, I was like, his swords don't really work. And the one time I used him in 5e, the DM just like, go with it. I was like, thank you. Which the DM was what? We let each other do things sometimes, okay? So this campaign was the second campaign I'd ever made. I made a whole... I hadn't played 5e yet, still at this point. So, I just... made my whole system again. Except for it was different. The first one did not have a leveling system. This one did. My leveling system... It was bad. It was bad! It was so bad! It was bad enough to the point where they hit level 20 and they're like, can we have another class? And I was like, fine. So everyone had like 2 classes. I think Lanis went like some kind of mage or something like that. I can't remember. No, he went rogue. That's right, he went rogue. He was fighter and then rogue. But, yeah, so in this campaign... I'm just going to start off, not with his backstory, but how the campaign started. They started kind of in this, like, slums area. I think kind of like Final Fantasy VII-esque. I had them, instead of starting in a tavern with each other, I had them start on their own. Often in different spots, but I had them start duos. I rolled a dice to see who they started with. I was like, hey, before we start, I'm going to give you, like, 30 minutes. If you want to come up, change your backstory some, and have them connected, go for it. They're like, so, 2 of them did change it, and they had connected backstory. It was great. It was funny. But we started, there was no way out of the slums. They were trying to control that. So eventually they tried to find their way out, where they met Soren, who is one of the NPCs linked to Lanis' backstory. Soren stays with them all the way through the campaign. Out of the 3 NPCs, he was the one to stay with them the whole flippin' time. This is where I started my Dragoon class for the first time. I do have a Dragoon class for 5e. that I've shown people, and they're like, heck yeah, use this. I've showed them it, and they're like, use this for my next campaign. I was like, I don't really want to, but it's like, you like it that much, huh? And they're like, yes. I'm like, dang. So if you don't know what a Dragoon is, just think Final Fantasy, that type of Dragoon. And it's like, think, oh, what's his name? Can't remember his name. Is it like, no, it's not. I was about to say Cecil. I'm like, Cecil's not right. It's like, we're not doing this. Kain. Think Kain from Final Fantasy IV. That is what I think of when I think Dragoon. I don't think Freya. I don't think Avranzos, or what is his name, dang it. Kamari. I don't think of Kamari or Freya. I don't, you know, I think of freaking Kain. Full out decked armor. That's what I think of when I think Dragoon. And I made a class based off of Dragoon. And I also made a subclass for Dragoon. I haven't made it in 5e, but I made it for this campaign. And Soren was the subclass. It's where they specialize in size, like the Grim Reaper. So he was just like a speed-based Dragoon with a freaking scythe. But yeah, they got out of there, and then they ended up having to fight some sort of worm, which is where Lanis was introduced. Man, I've already got like a long time into this video, and I've barely done anything. Lanis, I described him. So, I mean, Lanis was introduced. He just came out of the shadows, and he just basically annihilated this freaking beast. And they just blinked. It was like, what the crap? And then they met, right after he left, they met, I think, the other NPC that joins them every once in a while. So Lanis joins them when they're in deep trouble. The other one joins them for the first half, kind of like Lanis, but for the second half of the campaign, she's there the whole time. Her name is Sulu. She's the name I was trying to remember. I was like, crap, what is your name? I don't really ever plan to use her again. I might Soren. That is why I remember Soren's name. But Sulu was an actual Dragoon, like a straight up actual Dragoon. Yeah, so she works for the law, and Lanis works for whoever needs help. So she's actually hunting down Lanis. But what they didn't know at the beginning, that they know as the campaign progresses, is these three are a trio. And none of them recognized each other because it had been years. So now we get into Lanis' backstory. So, in this world, I made my own set of gods. There was one, and then this one made like 4 others, and one of them took over the other god. No, what happened is this one god made another one. It was like a prototype, but this one defected and killed that god. But as this god died, they created 3 more, and the 3 pretty much took out the 1. So there's 3 gods. One of dark magic, one of light magic, and then one of, I just say charisma, but essentially the god's like a bard on steroids. But there was 3 planets. Each of them had their own planet. There was planet travel in this campaign. But where am I going with this? So the gods aren't as good as what everyone thinks they are, and they ended up essentially killing the gods at the end of this campaign, because at the beginning of Lanis' story, they kidnapped him and his family, as they did with Soren and Sulu's. So they kidnapped them because there's a fourth planet that no one knows about. It's the planet of the gods. They hold a bunch of people there to run things like slavery to keep the other planets running. And they killed Lanis' family and used Lanis as a slave. He was growing up. He was kidnapped as a kid. So was Soren. And then technically Sulu was, but by the time Sulu finds them, they're both kids. Sulu's an adult already. And it's like, how does this work? How are they all friends? Sulu is an elf. What is Soren? Why can I not remember what Soren is? Soren is... I think he's half dragon, half human. I think I did a mix for him or something like that. He's some kind of cursed race because they mixed. Lanis is human. Lanis is straight up human. Soren, age is about the same as Lanis, but he's like part dragon. So Sulu kind of raises them and becomes their friends as they get older. Eventually Lanis does find his sister in the crowd. His sister is younger than him. And yeah, they keep working as slaves. Eventually they get ideas to try to escape. The first time they fail, then they try again. And this one kind of works. Lanis and Sulu get out, but Soren and Lanis' sister do not. So those two have to keep working as slaves, but Sulu and Lanis escape. But as they made their departure from the planet, they got separated. And as they grew up, they didn't find each other, so they had their own ideas. Sulu wanted to correct the system, but she knew the best way was to get the system's trust, so she worked for the law to save people and to try to fix the system. Lanis said, screw the system's screwed, and I'm just going to save whoever I can. See, he doesn't care who it is, he's going to save them, and he will destroy the system. So that's how they set on their paths. It's like, what happens with Soren? Well, eventually, Soren tries to escape again with Lanis' sister, I forget the name of. Soren succeeds, and then Lanis' sister, they had enough and took her to essentially solitary confinement. They don't know what happened to her. Eventually, she got under their control and had to fight them, and I think Lanis had to kill his own sister. It was a sad moment for the campaign. Yeah, Soren eventually escaped, so he spent, like, I think twice as long as a slave as Lanis did, but he eventually escaped, and it was only like a few months after that he joined the party. So, Soren had not been freed for very long. He didn't have very much. But Lanis had already built a name for himself where everyone's trying to hunt him down and capture him because he saves whoever he can. And Sulu had became one of the greatest agents they've had to help the law catch criminals. But eventually they figure out everything throughout the story, and then the three help the entire party beat the BVG. So yeah. And eventually, the party each had their own role in restoring the planets and bringing up law and order again, making it a better place to live. And then it's like, well, you could cut their lives here, right? Never use them again. And before we continue on the rest of his story, Lanis, I will describe how he looks. So say he has black cloak, 2 swords. I think I said they're white and black. Oh, I did describe it. I never said his eye color, that's what it was. I think he has like light gray eyes, or light purple eyes, I can't remember. It's one of the two. But in between this and the next time he gets in the campaign, Lanis does get with Sulu and marries her and has a kid. Eventually, a time portal opens, and they basically destroy all the progress that had been made on the planets. Lanis tries to take them down, fails, but then he goes in after them because he wants to stop them. He cares for people, as I've mentioned, and he doesn't want them to hurt any other dimensional world. So he goes in after them. But by the time he gets out of the portal, he lost track of them. And he's by himself. And then he stumbles upon the party that Matness is from. And if you remember from Matness's video, I said I played Lanis for a short amount of time in that campaign. This is that time. And I said he would wait for 10 years while we had a 10-year gap. That's because Lanis is trying to hunt down these people that basically destroyed all of their progress from his dimension. So he goes to hunt them down. And that's how I leave Lanis' story off, because I haven't played further from them. I will one day. But as for now, that's how it's been cut off. So yeah, Lanis was first an NPC, and then I got to play him as a 5e character for a bit. Maybe I'll get to play him as a character again someday. He is 5e. He is a human fighter. The most basic thing you could ever be. But his gear, I actually have to ask permission for, because it's all homebrew. But yeah, that's Lanis' story. I will say that after he jumped in, before the portal closed, Soren did go in after him, because I plan to play Soren at some point. I'm not going to do a video for Soren, because I haven't actually made Soren. It's just been in the back of my mind that I am going to play him someday. But yeah, Soren jumped in after him to go save him, or help him, or something. So in that dimension, Sulu's practically by herself, raising this kid until they come back. But yeah, that's... I know it's like left off with a cliffhanger, but that's how I got it. It's like, I have no idea after that either, so I don't know. But I think I kind of shortened it all. I could have went longer and explained more in depth. But yeah, that is Lanis for you. One thing about his name is when he was the hunted bounty hunter, he was called Lanis the Destroyer, because he destroys anyone that hurts anyone else. But after that, after they save the worlds, he changes his name to Lanis the Savior, because he tries to save people, and people understand that now. They know if they see Lanis, he's there to save them. But his name, Lanis the Savior, didn't really get used until I used him in the 5e version. So if I use him ever again, it'll be Lanis the Savior, but I will always know him as Lanis the Destroyer. Anyways, though, as I said, I really shortened that up, but this is Lanis for you. And I hope you enjoyed Lanis, and without further ado, I will see you in the next one when we talk about Lee. I know I've mentioned it before, and I'm going to have fun talking about Lee. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all for watching. This is Blaze. Hope you enjoyed it. Maybe this will inspire you to make your own D&D character somewhat like what I have made, or something completely different. Maybe it just inspired you to play D&D. Whatever the case, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.